relationships, but you're wrong. Listen, there's no magic bullet. I'm teaching life skills.
When you're sick, you need medicine. It don't always taste good, but it'll get you better. You need this medicine. It ain't gonna always taste good, but this is what you need. Men and women, bottom line, we need to have the conversation. Your partner wants to give up control, but only if you know how to drive. This is about being the best you could ever be, whoever you are. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, LGBTQ, space alien. I'll save anybody. I don't care. I'll teach a hedgehog how to have a threesome.
What do you mean by that?
Look, you don't have to listen to me, but you're wrong.
Listen, I know I'm great. And I know you're thinking, Dante, there's no way I could be like you. But you could be me, you know why?
Because you know who I was? Before I was me, I was you.
Man School 202.
Better hear what I've got to say because you won't get it again.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man.
Everybody coming in.
Put your
coming
happiness
in.
first, because if you don't, they won't.
Everybody coming in. What up? What up? What up? What up? What the deal? Come on in, people. The water's fine. What the deal? What the deal? So sorry about Sunday night. Little technical difficulty. That's what happens when I'm doing work on the technical side without checking it afterwards, in fact. But welcome everybody. Welcome. It's great to be here. I'm excited. Let's get the phone numbers up right now. There was so many people that was calling in. I got a bunch of messages on my voicemails and stuff that I probably shouldn't have gotten if we had gotten the show. So there's the number 269 929-269-4922. That's the number to call in. A few things I want to cover, but it all depends on how many calls we get. If I sound good, what's up? What's up, Kenny B, Xavier, Kelvin, Luis De Jesus, Ben was popping. If y'all hear me, please give me a thumbs up so I know that we're sounding good, nice and crisp and clear. Phone lines are up. Just want to make sure that those are working. So let's do it. Where's the banner? Don't forget the Cash App and the PayPal. If you think I'm helping you, and if you get something from this, have the credibility to kind of support the show, man. Doing this, I appreciate y'all, but the only way I can keep doing this is if y'all look out. So there's that. Don't forget real quick, the Patreon. We had some really good technical stuff we did on the next Patreon episodes, which I've been trying to gear things more towards that. That's patreon.com/manschool202 for bonus techniques and games. Here's the Cash App. Y'all know what it is. One-on-one consultations, DanteNero.com. Y'all know how to get me. And let's get the number back up. 929-269-4922. That's the number, the phrase that pays. Appreciate y'all for coming in. Let's see who else. Let me see what the comments say. Are we nice and clear? Thanks, Luis. Appa Hoop Jack, what's going on? Ghost Dog Blue 76. Benzie, what's going on? I'm Rasad. I'm his Rod. Wood Shredder, what's going on? Thank y'all all for coming in. There was something I wanted to talk about Sunday, and I just couldn't get around to it because of the fact that we just, couldn't get the technical difficulties. But a concept that I think needs to be talked about that I don't think that really guys understand. Your credibility is based on your truth. Let me be clear what I mean by that. Your credibility is based on your truth. You can't have one without the other. You can't have truth without credibility. And I've said this 100 times. If you are a dude who wants to be just kind of casual, kind of want to be in relationships that are just casual, just kind of have fun, you can have that. If you want a relationship that's serious, you can have that. If you want a marriage that's balanced and where you're respected in the marriage, you absolutely can have that. The thing what you have to understand overall is that you have to be honest about what it is that you want. Be clear. Be clear. You gotta be honest about what it is that you ultimately wanna have happen. And it's okay. Understand this. This is okay that you are innocent, that you want something different. Do you know what I mean? It's okay that you want to basically just have your cake and eat it too. And you'd be surprised about how often and how easily it is to do that if you're honest about it. You'll be surprised at how easily it is in a situation where you can do what you want. You can have what you want. The difference is you can't have what you want with everybody. Just like everybody's not going to like you, everybody's not going to love you, everybody's not going to put up with you, and that's okay. That's not a reference to anything other than the fact that it is what it is, what it is. Gosh, I don't know what happened here, but anyway, let me get that back up. It is what it is, what it is, and what I mean by that is that you can't be ashamed of being honest about what your situation is or what it is that you want. You got to be honest about it, even if it's perceived as if you are doing something that normally would be perceived as disrespectful or dishonest. It just, there's a ridiculousness. Wow, it's a lot of stuff going on in here. There's a ridiculousness of the fact is that we often feel that we can't ask for what we want, and a lot of times we don't ask what we want because we don't think we're worthy. I've said this at least 100 times. A guy who is 5'6", 5'4", that lies about being 5'6" on a dating app is a guy who doesn't think that 5'4" is good enough. In your head, you're thinking, man, if I was only, let's think about what the subtext of it is. If I was only 2 inches taller, then somehow I would be worthy. I'm not sure how that works, but that's what you think. That's what you're saying. There's a subtext to this. And what do I mean by the subtext is that when you do certain actions and certain things that you do, there is a obvious understanding of what your feelings are based on your actions. And what we do is we believe the obvious explanation. Now, I'm not saying that we can't read into stuff that's there and be wrong about it. What I'm saying is, if you're wrong about it, so what? If you're wrong about it, so what? Wood Shredder, what's going on, brother? Thank you for the super chat. Let me put this up real quick. Yo, Dante, how would you handle a dude staring at your girl in front of you, making her feel uncomfortable? I'm going to hit that in a second. Let me get this call, and I promise you I'm going to get back to that. Let's make sure the phones are working. Bang, 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 bang. Let's see. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Talk to me, Dante. How you doing? My name is James.
What's up,
calling
James?
From talk to me. Yeah, calling from North Carolina right now, transplant. But
This your first call? This your first time calling in?
Yes, indeed. My first time calling in. Just want to give 2 shout outs. One, shouts out Dante, man, killing it.
Thank you, family.
But second thing, I heard you mention that like the height thing, and I just want to give a little bit of encouragement to all my short kings, man. Just want to let y'all know, it was a young dude that came that was working with me. This dude was about 5'5".
Okay.
He was fat when he was younger.
Right.
Fat when he was younger, got ripped, and by the time I met him, we started talking. He was about like 5 years my junior.
Right.
By the time we started talking, this dude had about 60 bodies, and he had a list of names.
Right.
Which is to say, gentlemen, getting women has not that height doesn't matter. It matters, but it's about how you present yourself, what energy you carry yourself with. And I suppose, pardon the third thing, that I just want to ask you a question,
sure.
Which is, with a lot of what's going on in terms of like how TikTok is having females just presenting themselves as dudes ain't approaching anymore, like this new generation is different. What say you to that whole new generation, or to this whole new, I suppose, movement for the younger folks? And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna land my plane. I'm gonna let you get to it, because
you can stay on, because it might be something I want to ask you. Just stay on for a minute. I'll let you go in a minute. Let you gotta go. I don't want to hold you hostage, but
No, I'm with you. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the first thing. I'm an old school dude. I'm OG, and there was so much that I learned from doing these lives, and in terms of that. Like, one of the things, I don't know if you've been listening or if you heard everything, but one of the things that became evident to me, I was getting guys who were coming in, calling in, telling me, yo, I'm talking to this girl, and what they really meant by talking to is they sent some chick a DM or sent somebody a message on Facebook, and they're corresponding back and forth. Now, I mean, I don't know if it's still on. I think it's still on, but I don't know if anybody's watched Catfish. But I've seen so many episodes of Catfish where somebody is talking to somebody online or whatever, and it ends up being a dude in the basement, right, who has low self-esteem. So, I mean, that's part of it. But understand this too. Even when there is a legitimate situation where guys are talking on apps and stuff like that, or they're meeting girls on apps, they do not pick up the phone. So rarely do they pick up the phone. And I understand that, you have to have the empathy to understand that a woman needs to be cautious about who she lets in her personal, gives a guy access to, because there's plenty of weirdos out there. But ultimately, understand that, what her hesitance is, but also understand that you gotta get that off those apps, and eventually you need to have a conversation with her.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Now, and there's so many dudes, because women are dictating the tempo of this, where they're going, well, I don't talk on the phone. Well, if you don't talk on the phone, then I don't have I'm not spending my time, energy, and otherwise. Let me hear what I'm saying. If you're trying to, and if you're trying to get a blowy, right? If you're trying to get a blowy, and a chick won't talk to you, a woman won't talk to you on the phone, how does she move from not talking to you at all, not wanting to speak to you on the phone, to putting your member in her mouth? I mean, do we understand how? This is crazy. No, it's crazy you saying this, because this actually goes. All right, so I think it's a generation thing, because I come from an older generation where you have to spit game. You have to walk up to chicks in the street.
How old are you?
I'm 32. I'm 32.
Okay.
Born 91. Yeah.
Right. So you're right before it started being, well, I don't pick up the phone. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, no, I was outside, and then right quick we got the internet and all the bullshit. But I was outside first. Yeah.
Right.
Now it's a thing where, like, from our generation, you have to actually walk up to shorties. You have to cold walk up just try and spit. And oftentimes you get turned down. It's what it is. You charge it to the game. Nowadays, a lot of dudes are scared. And look, on one hand, I get it. Like, you might get recorded. It's going to look crazy. But although we weren't getting recorded, we still have to deal with the embarrassment. Sometimes you walk up to a chick and you with your homies, you with your friends, you get turned down. Yeah, so we still have to deal with our version of the social media, like in front of everybody. You just walked up in the entire store looking at you crazy. So the whole thing is, dudes just got to stop being scared. One, and two, stop caring about what the world thinks. And I think this might have something to do with, like life is getting expensive, right? No matter where you live, it's getting more expensive to live. That being the case, pick up a skill. Try to see something that you could actually learn where you could deliver some productivity. You could deliver something to a company or whatever the case is, and they're going to pay you whatever that check is. But it's on y'all to just, whatever your insufficiency, whatever
Hold on, let me push something back. It's not that I disagree with you, right? But I also don't want this to get so wide that the message is so wide that we're not getting anything. One of the things that I'm really, really good at is spoon feeding these lessons to the point where they stick, right? There's no sense in me yapping and hitting you with 100 things when the basic fundamental principles. And so anytime I do a consultation with somebody and a guy ain't got no game or he's afraid of rejection and stuff, I have a system that I put in place that moves you along the path, right? Sort of like, I look at it like, I remember playing Madden 1, right? If you play Madden 1 and you stop, I don't know what Madden they're on now, something like 20-something or whatever, but the point is, as somebody in the chat will tell me, if you haven't played Madden, you played maybe Madden 1, 2, 3, and 5, and you try to play Madden now, right? It's a whole nother education because the skill set of what you have to learn to play that game proficiently without just getting romped on is so involved because it's gotten so much more audibles and all kinds of change of plays. And so my point is, on a fundamental level, the first level of laying the bricks is just walking to a girl, paying a compliment that's honest and honest and non-sexual, right? And
that's a great on ramp. And
also, you are not supposed initially, and I know this is difficult because if the girl is attractive, but that's also why I say don't just talk to the women that you find attractive. Older, younger, middle-aged, everything, mothers, everybody. What you're doing,
just experience,
Well,
comfortability,
and you're not supposed to get the number. The attempt is not to get a number. It's not even to get a response. You're not even trying to get a thank you. I just want you to get out there, take time to settle in, right? Be present, right? Look at this woman and say, what do I think that's interesting or different or whatever? And like, oh, I love your makeup. I love your shoes. That's a beautiful bracelet. That's a beautiful brooch. That color looks good on you. The color makes your skin pop. I love your.
But now let's get clear about that. Let's get clear about that because you're right in terms of the comments that you're making. But the dude delivering the compliment, he needs to be honest and righteous in that. If you understand, compliment.
The first thing I said is that the compliment needs to be honest, needs to be non-sexual and honest.
Yeah.
If you can't
make they can feel that.
Well, I'm going to tell you what happens because the same way I say your value is what you do, not who you are, right? If you got a chick you have a woman who likes you because of what you got or who you are, that ain't going nowhere. That's going to wear off, and that's somebody who's so shallow. I mean, we see how that worked out for Cassie, right? She let's be honest, right? Diddy was never no cat killer. You know what I mean? Like his eyes was too close together. You know what I'm saying? It was about the money and the possessions. he got real beady eyes. If y'all ain't checking me, he got little rat eyes. They real close together, right?
That's crazy, but I hear you.
His facial features look like if somebody swept him up with a dust, getting ready to pick him up with a dust, like they swept all his facial features to the center of his face. And I'm not saying that I'm clowning, but I'm saying that doesn't matter. But the point was My point is, people mess with him, even men, women, and otherwise, because of who he was, not what he did. Do you feel me? Now, if on the first phase, if you're paying a woman a compliment, for instance, let's say you compliment a woman's makeup, right? I don't know if you've never had a girl, if you had a girl and or even if you had a girl and you never paid attention, but if you watch your girl put her makeup on, it is a painstaking, tedious action to watch them, because it's artistic.
That's minimum like 40 minutes. Yeah, that's minimum 40 minutes. It's a process.
Dog, I've seen women who go to weddings where they pay professional makeup artists to do makeup, like hours and hundreds of thousands just for makeup. So my point is, if you compliment somebody's makeup, you're not just saying, "Oh, yo, you pretty." What you're doing is
acknowledging the effort.
Exactly, which is honest. I've never had a situation where somebody came up to me and said, "Man, what you do." I'll give you one better. Back in the days when I was stripping, right? If a chick was like, "Oh, you Mandingo, blah 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 blah," yeah, I get you caught up in the hype, but that don't mean nothing to me. When I had a chick who was a dancer, like she goes, "Listen, I've watched a lot of strippers and dancers," and he goes, "What you do out there is exceptional. The details
she's
of what
the technique."
Right,
she's keeping the technique.
Right.
Yeah.
So it has more meaning to me. You know what I mean? If you're a welder, right? And somebody goes, "Man, I don't know if you know welding, but I'm saying if you go, "Man, your beads," if he says your beads is crazy, it's so uniform. What the guy is hearing is like, "Oh, you get this. You get this welding thing." Go ahead.
It's a kinship. It's a kinship. It's an understanding of the universe that you exist in. I know it. I might be a part of it, might not be a part of it, but I pay attention enough to know that what you're doing is difficult.
And the clear thing is, I admire it. So when you compliment somebody, you say, "Man, your outfit is you look so well put together," right? She knows that she might have taken them clothes off and put them on 5 times before she left the house. You know what I mean? Until she got it right. Yep. And so what you're complimenting is what she does.
The work.
Exactly. Now,
and everybody, and that's male or female. Everybody wants to be acknowledged for their effort, for their work. Yeah.
Exactly.
But again, back to your caveat though. It needs to be honest. It needs to be honest, because people can feel that shit.
But if you listen to the content, the first principle is authenticity, which is telling the truth. To be authentic. Yeah. The acronym is ACE for a reason. It's authenticity, credibility, and empathy, right? So nothing you do should be dishonest. And in no shape, it should never, and I've said this 100 times, everything you do should be intentful. It should be, you are putting effort in something to get an objective, right? Even if the objective is simply to pay an honest, sincere compliment. The minute you're sincere with this person, the first time you say to a welder, "Man, I love your beads on that weld," right? That you're right, that it's a kinship, and now he looks at me totally different. This is a crazy thing. I'm gonna tell you a little quick story. My first studio that I built, I had no idea how to build a studio. I built the studio in my house, one of my side storage rooms, from scratch. And I was doing a voiceover. And I was asking the dude in the voiceover booth, because it's a soundproof booth. I was like, "Man, how do you insulate, and how does this da da da?" And I was asking questions. He says, "Funny you ask." He says, "But the guy who builds all the sound studios all throughout New York, all the voiceover, he's the guy who builds it, right? Old timer, right?" So he introduced me to the guy, and I asked him questions. I'm just trying to understand this. And this dude gave me an hour and a half. I mean, he was working, but in an hour and a half, he explained to me how to build a soundproof room and the difference between ambient sound and the internal sound that bounces around. I mean, it was just amazing. But simply because I was interested in something that he had a love for, right? He gave it away. He gave it to me for free. Right?
Free game, and it's worth hundreds of thousands.
And we're literally talking about, this was like 2010 when I was building the studio. So what I'm saying is, when you say to a woman, wow, your outfit is you're so well put together, this, that, the other, or I love that pencil skirt, or I love that
right. You got to know, you got to know the items. You got to be specific so that they know that you're aware. Like, exactly. You got to know.
That's the authenticity. But I'm gonna say this, on the first phase, you're not even doing that. All you're doing is paying a compliment to something very simple. Love your makeup, like love your shoes, and you're on the go. Because here's what happens: the minute we start communicating, right, and it is transactional, right? Hey, what's up with you? Blah 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 blah. Now her guard is up because you want something. You want some butt. She
knows what it is.
Yes,
but she knows what it is, but she don't know how you about to go about trying to get that. And so she's like, "Hold up."
And you might not even be her initial type that she would mess with in the first place. But when you start with, man, those Manolo Blancs dope. They look.
It's equivalent. It's equivalent to somebody saying, "I see you."
Yeah, exactly. And everybody wants to be seen, but on the first phase. So the other part of that is that fear. You cannot have fear let fear have a seat at the table. If you have fear, let it have a seat at the table. Whatever you are, whatever game you got, and fear is present, you could count that game, slash it down to a third. Because of the fight or fright. Because if any boxer, any wrestler, any MMA guy, anybody that acts, if you are afraid or you have emotion present, now you don't have access to your full faculties. And so the reason why you do it 5 times a day is just so that you get accustomed to talking to people. Secondly, you get accustomed to telling the truth. Right? To being sincere. It also forces you to settle in, because you can't make an honest compliment if you haven't taken some time to observe something. Third of all, you're learning how to talk to somebody non-transactional. Now, here's the goes back to the question you were asking me, if I could talk to this the way women say they're not approaching her. They are absolutely right. Guys are afraid. They don't know how to do it. But here's the thing. If you want to get good at it, you got to do it. You can't play ping. Yeah. If you never played ping pong, you can't expect yourself to be able to know. You're not going to go to the Olympics in ping pong on your first time out. I mean, you could do that with breakdancing if you're from Australia, but that's a whole nother thing. My point is
it was practice. It was real. Yeah, no, it was real. Like you had mentioned it. For men, we're expected to be good at sex, and it's another thing without having any practice, and it makes no sense.
Yeah, and look, I get it, because men are expected to know this, but then what you find is men are really hard on themselves because they don't know it, right? And then they feel worthless because I don't know. But it's so unfair to yourself to be mad at yourself, because you're doing something that you've never had any practice.
But let's go a little deeper on that. It's not even just unfair. It's a waste. Like, sure. It does nothing for anybody to just be blaming yourself about something. Just go and correct it.
Absolutely.
Just go and correct it.
And you have to practice it. And I tell a guy, as soon as dudes do any consultations, DanteNero.com, click on consult, and they start. The first step of it is, for me, you got to forgive yourself for not knowing something that somebody didn't teach you. And when I say it, it sounds absurd. Why? Because that's really a thought in their head. I've never learned this. Nobody ever taught it me. My dad wasn't around. He didn't teach me, but somehow I'm supposed to be good at it. And I hate myself because I'm not. It's just the absurdness that is ridiculous. And
no. Prime example. And this is a little bit outside the dating realm. It's more in the career realm. But I was mad at myself because my college classmates, they were on game. They came from families that gave them the game, so they knew exactly what they needed to do when they were in them 4 years.
Yeah.
Where me, I bounced around, I bumped my head 1,000 times, and in fact, it got so much so to the point where it was my individual work after I graduated that allowed me to actually take advantage of, oh yeah, you weren't supposed to know this because no one told you.
Exactly.
Now you know.
Exactly.
When you have a family, now you pass it down and you build on that.
And this is why I do this podcast. It's because I bumped my head, but I mean, I kind of had a knack for it. But I mean, if you look behind me, man, every one of those books, I got a few of them that I haven't touched yet. But most of them I've read. 80% of them I've read already. So I'm constantly putting information and thinking and stuff like that. But yes, women are right that there are a lot of guys who won't approach and they're afraid and they won't put into it. But that's what the show is about. The show is to say that you can do that and you'd be surprised about the response. Now, what I would say is the fear of rejection or the fear of somebody telling you or telling you don't, or not responding. This is another reason why, at least on the first phase, I tell you, you're not allowed to get a response. You're not allowed to get a number because I don't.
It's that fear of being awkward. That fear of feeling inside yourself. Like, nah, just get outside your body. You know what I'm saying? Get out of your head.
But here's the thing: what guys don't get. The minute you go, I'm doing this to get that, the nature of the conversation changes. Do you understand what I'm saying?
It's compromise. That's
because
a fact. Yeah.
Now I need something. There's leverage. But if I'm just paying a compliment because I'm benevolent and I see something beautiful, that takes a whole different tone. And it is
because now you're giving like you're adding life as opposed to trying to take life
with nothing, looking for nothing in return. So I've had guys who did the first phase of the program where they're laying the 5 bricks and they accidentally slip and fall into some booty that they never even like, yo, I got laid. I'm like, what? Like we didn't even get to the 5th phase yet. You know what I mean? But what happens is I also tell them, okay, it's great that that happened. That's a great experience, but you need to still work because now what happens is usually will happen is I'll help a guy, I'll consult him, and then he'll get a girl, and then he stops laying the 5 bricks. He stops consulting with me, and then he's in this relationship. And I'm like, Doug, you're not ready for the Super Bowl. Yo, just because you caught a pass, don't mean you're ready for the Super Bowl.
And it goes back to that. It goes back to that Black Phillip. What do you call that? The fisherman analogy. She wants you because you're a fisherman. Now all of a sudden you done sold the boat. All of a sudden you don't know how to. You just lose everything about what got you there.
You gotta. I said women will fall in love with you for everything that they are. They'll spend the rest of the relationship changing you into everything that you're not. If you let them succeed, they will dump you for a guy who was what you were in the first place. It's not, understand something, it's not malicious. Like, it's not malicious.
I know that firsthand, man. Yeah, it's just,
It's reactional. It's reactional. They're reacting to the fact that they're deciding whether or not you're a viable choice, a viable mate choice.
You're trying to see, is this real? Yeah. Are you real?
And it may not even be conscious enough like that, because I always say that a woman doesn't know what she wants. Her pussy does. Like this, what I mean by that, there's a visceral reaction. It happens it's a feeling. It's never just a list. There's no list on she likes what she likes because it's visceral.
Yeah, it's less of science. It's less of science. It's more art. It's more. It's just, and art is feeling. It's pure feeling.
Yeah.
It's like you could get knocked for yours just off momentary. Dude just was doing the right things at the right times, made her feel away, and she's gone. And it really is that fickle. It really is that fickle.
It is. It is. I mean, I've heard this whole thing about women saying they have the ick. Right. I had one girl say, if I like a thug dude, if he eats soft serve ice cream, this is on one of the episodes. I forget which one it is. If he eats soft serve ice cream, I'm not talking to him. Then I had another chick.
Insane.
I had another chick who said, "Are you kidding? But she used to date nothing but murderers row. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so she was saying, "Oh, I'd love to see a guy eat soft serve ice cream," because her dudes were so hard that she liked to see the soft side to them. You know what I mean? So, so what it's all visceral. All of it means something, but it all don't mean nothing, man. Dog, I really appreciate you calling, man. I really, really do.
No, thank you for taking the call, man. This was great, and again, I recommend keep listening, man. Like Dante's spitting. I'm a huge fan.
All right, family. Okay, just so you know, the lives we're doing the lives every Sunday, every Wednesday, every Tuesday, and every Thursday. So y'all can get me at 8:30. So I'm kicking it. If not, you can pick it up. You can pick it up afterwards and get the replay. All right.
Either way, I'm locking in. And great audio, by the way. Great audio. Thank you.
Thank you, family. Appreciate you.
All right, bro. One.
Later. Yes, really, I'm gonna just button that up. Yes, there are men who are not approaching, but this is also what they want. But this is why you can't look at what people say all the time. You got to look at what their actions are and what they're responding to. You have to engage there. Ultimately, intimacy is face to face. It is on the phone. It is eye to eye. It is mouth to mouth. It is pelvis to pelvis. And so if you have somebody that's objecting a phone call, just basic communication, then what are you doing? She don't like you. And that's okay. Move on. Find somebody who does like you. What's also interesting about that is that if you let people dictate the I guess the parameters of how you're going to operate, you're never going to be happy. You're just always going to be running on somebody else's time. So let me deal with this. Wood Shredder says, "Yo, Dante, how would you handle with a dude staring at your girl in front of you and making her feel uncomfortable?" At some point in time, if it's just disrespectful and blatant, you'd be like, "Dog, is there a problem?" And you go, "Listen, you being real disrespectful." Now, understand something. If you can also just let's get out of here, because I'm not trying to get locked up. But I would say that if somebody is being that disrespectful, they looking for the smoke, and you got to say, "Dog, I understand she's beautiful, but you're being disrespectful." You know what I mean? And you have to confront that, because if she's feeling uncomfortable and she says it to you, right, then it's a problem, because ultimately what he's doing is the punk test. Like, he's doing this to see what you're going to do. Eventually, it's only going to escalate. And so I think you can be respectful and still check somebody, unless somebody's a sociopath. And if you're dealing with a sociopath, that's what you got to deal with that. I mean, that is part of the game. So if it's that blatant and that uncomfortable, you gotta speak up. There's the other part of that is if you go to the bathroom and he steps up and she puts him in his place, right? There should be no problem after that. If there's a problem after she says, "Listen, I'm here with my man, you're disrespectful, and I'm not interested," and then he pushes further, you know what that is. It's just, this dude is a sociopath, which is so crazy, man, because I come from an era, if a dude says something crazy, right, you pop in the mouth and you shoot a fair one. Now, even if you pop him in the mouth and you shoot a fair one, police gonna lock everybody up. They lock the dude who started it. They lock the dude who didn't start. It just, everybody goes. And so I think you have to keep that in mind and avoid all conflict whenever you can. But there comes a time when somebody's backing you, when the brutes are at the gate, you got to be able to handle that. So that's just what I'm saying. Bro, you need a soundboard when you make a point. Hold on, what is that? Let me see what he's saying. When you make a point, I have to drop so people can get the message. Like, don't be a menace. I got you. I feel you. Okay, so this is funny. Somebody said, can you speak about women's accountability? Understand something. I have never heard the terminology a woman of her word. If somebody else has heard somebody refer to a woman as a woman of her word, please put it in the comments, because I've never heard that. In my 58 years, I've never heard Amri Sarad. What is it? I'm getting my man's name right. Amri Sarad. Amri Sarad. All right, I got it phonetically. Thanks. Shout out to you, bro. What up, Dwight Christian? Channel Uno. I've never heard a situation where somebody was where we've mentioned to a woman, referred to a woman as a woman of her word. Now, I'm not saying that women don't keep their word. I'm saying that it is not. There's never a situation where we refer to them as that. And why is that? Because there's almost an expectation of fickleness. You know, there's always that expectation that women can change their mind and they're emotional and stuff. And I think that depends, because in some cases men are emotional in certain situations. You think you have to compartmentalize that idea that men are emotional, women are emotional, and men are not. But women will always change their mind whenever they want to. I say women have what you call integrity amnesias. Whatever they agree to on the front end is not what they agree to on the back end. Don't forget the phone lines are open. Let me put that number up real quick. Phone lines are open. And we're in a situation where because of that, I think we look at it as if, I get it. I get it that, women are going to change their mind. Do I think that they're lying? No, not at all. I think a lot of times at the moment when you get a girl, and we've all had that situation where a girl said, I'm going to love you forever. Yeah, you're going to love me forever until you don't. Let me get this real quick. You're going to love me until you don't love me. So I don't think it's the fact that women are lying about it, or let me see. What's your name? Where you calling from? Did I lose that? Shit, I lost it. Damn it. Go on. Yeah, I think there's a definite truth to what they're saying overall. I lost those calls. It just kind of got caught up in. Call back if y'all can. So I think we allow that kind of wiggle room for a woman to change her mind, because it's based on her emotion. If she says, you're the only one for me forever, yeah, I believe she believes that when she's saying it. But so what? That could change at any given time. I'm sorry with those two people that call back. The lines are open. My bad. There you go. Let's see. Oh, yeah.
From California.
To accept, press 1. To send.
What's your name? Where you calling from, family?
It's John from California.
What's going on, John? How can I help you, bro?
What's up, Dante? Long-time listener. I've been listening since 2014. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your shit is the real shit, man. It's giving me results.
Thank you.
What attracted me the most is not just, showing guys how to get girls, but more importantly, how important it is to have integrity.
Yeah.
And how that bleeds into one another,
Well, it bleeds into everything: your job, your family, your house, your friends, just your life in general.
Yeah, because when I started listening to you, I was overweight. I was broke, had no job.
Right.
Nothing. I started listening to you, started applying the principles, I ended up getting my own apartment, a good job, like my whole life turned around.
Man, I appreciate that, bro.
So,
I'm
like,
happy for you, bro. What can I help you with, though?
one of your classic episodes, we had Rosebud on. That was like back in 2013.
Yeah.
Something I loved about that episode was how you put him on game.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
when it came to his daughter. Remember that?
Yeah. Absolutely. It was.
He was like,
Go ahead.
she was 18, she was being unruly. And you were like, yo,
yeah.
Rosebud, you gotta remember she's, you know, without due respect, she's still a bitch. Your mom, et cetera, et cetera. And it was just like, damn, bro, because he put her on a pedestal, but that was his daughter.
Yeah, right. But the principles are the same. And what I explained to him was, I go, you have talked women into to getting money out of their booty. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't use those skills to talk to your daughter to get her to come home and enroll in school, I mean, what did you learn for? The principles are the same. I mean, it's all manipulative. It just doesn't have to be negatively manipulative. So, and Rosebud, literally while I was telling him this, it hit him. He says, "Let me call you back." He said, "Let me call you back." Made some calls. He called me, and I didn't hear from him like 2 days later. 2 days later, he goes, "Man, I really appreciate you that you put me on game, because my daughter," he was like, I called her, I talked to her, we met up. You know, also he had a problem with the fact of who his daughter looked up to him, because, you know, he had turned over the new leaf. Like, he did, like, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a movie called American Pimp. And he had promised that when he had his last bottom bitch, he said he would marry her, and he did. He ended up breaking up with her, and then now he has grandchildren and all kinds of stuff. But his daughter kept saying to him, "I want to get a man just like you." And he was like, "Oh God, no. Please don't get a man like me," because what she was talking about is the man that she knew him to be, not the man that he was when he was in the game, you know? And he was afraid that she would get exposed to things that he didn't want her exposed to. And so he was overprotective, and instead of speaking to her in a respectful way, like this was his daughter, you know? So yeah, but I mean, what's going on with you? How can I help you, bro? I appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah, it's something I always wanted you to double back on, and you never really did. Just like the way the game would connect with being a father, you know? Because it tripped me out how he was in the game but was struggling with his daughter.
Well,
you know?
Well, because now here's what's interesting even about that. What principle does that apply to? It's never let emotion have a seat at the table. So all of a sudden, because it's your daughter, now you are emotionally attached to the situation. And now what do I say? What happens when you let emotion have a seat at the table? You do not think with the clarity. Now here's a dude that he was a pimp for 35 years. And when it came to his daughter, he couldn't see what was obviously the truth, you know? And so I get it. It could happen to anybody. Don't get me wrong. It happens to me sometimes, but I'm constantly repeating these mantras over and over again so that I stay. We're all going to make, you know, I always say this, there's two things we always going to have to do is give forgiveness and ask for forgiveness. That's the nature of being human. So you're going to make mistakes, and you got to understand that all you do is you just pick up and you and you start all over again, man. But I'm glad I can help you, and I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, appreciate you, Dante.
All right, brother. Keep listening. Spread the word. All right? Tell somebody.
Sir.
All
yes,
right.
Sir.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah, it's also a situation where I just think that, you know, and this is the other thing about what, you know, what and God bless the dead, when I talk about, like, I can't even think of the man's name now. God bless the dead. Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels always looked at this. His perspective, although I don't think that he was unreasonable, a lot of times his perspective was very kind of um, it didn't take into consideration that the human element of relation. You're supposed to get married to this. He didn't have solutions, but he made it big because this is people want to see dudes who don't get laid and don't have access to women and don't know how to. They love to watch a pretty girl get chopped down. They love to watch some arrogant woman who's 50 years old, who hasn't, was hot when she was young, and now she's past her prime, and I'm single by choice. No, you're not. Nobody wants to be alone, dog. I've seen what that looked like. My middle sister was miserable. Like I tell this all the time. Before my middle sister passed away, she was a horrible human being. Horrible to me, horrible to the family, horrible to my mother. But once she got older and she wasn't hot no more and the titties started sagging, she didn't have nobody. And she had burned so many bridges with me that she used to call the cable guy just to argue with the cable guy so she would have somebody to talk to. It was a sad, sad state of affairs. So anybody tell you they want to be alone, dog, yeah, for a minute. Nobody wants to be alone. So let me say that. What do I got in the comments? The phone lines are back open. What's the line? Okay, let me put this up. 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That's funny. Let me read this comment. What's the line between holding a woman accountable to what she says, like you did with Cinnabon, and his ex-wife's divorce, and hearing something zesty that she says and ignoring she even said it? Okay, so one of the basic fundamentals I think we have to understand is people do what they want to do. You're just not going to be in a situation where people do things and they do what they want to do. So, for instance, if you exchange numbers with a girl and you send her a text or whatever and she don't text you back, she's not texting you back because she don't want to. If you're holding somebody accountable for something that they said, you have to hold them accountable with actions. So if I'm not sure about what part of the story, so I'm gonna back up and tell the story at least until we get a phone call. It's good. One of the guys who one of the first dudes I was counseling, his wife had this thing where he would do these elaborate vacations, and she would always be late. Like he would be rushing, trying to get to packing, and he was the kind of dude that would have a limo pick them up from the airport and have a limo go to a 5-star hotel, and then he would have everything planned and a cruise in Miami to some, just like really thoughtful stuff. And then she was like always late. Like, so the first conversation we had, I said, if she's always, he wasn't even thinking about divorce. I mean, because he wasn't the one who asked for the divorce. She asked for the divorce. But what happened was I said to him, the next time you go on a vacation, right, and she's late, right, don't say a word. Let your actions speak the truth. And so what happened was they had another trip that he had planned. They were running late. They got in the airport. She goes, I'm hungry. He says, well, why don't you go get something to eat? She goes, reason why we call him Cinnabon, because he was in the airport, in LaGuardia Airport, and he was like, she's like, I want a Cinnabon. He goes, yeah, why don't you get it? She goes, well, you want to sit down and eat it? She said, sure. Sat down and eat it. They got to the gate. The gate was empty. She was like, oh, this flight is going to be empty. He was like, no, the flight's not going to be empty. The flight already left, right? And she said she just looked stupid in the face. It's like, now what I told him to do is say, listen, I'm going back home. Here's your ticket. You can do what you want to do. I'm going back home. Because I would have been so angry that somebody, and not angry in an emotional way, but just that somebody would take advantage of me in the way that I would do all of this, lay all of this out so that I could do something nice for the woman I love. And then she doesn't even think enough of me to be there on time. It's just very unfair and very inconsiderate. But he didn't. he didn't. He changed the flight. They had to go through all this stuff. He lost the honeymoon suite that he had booked. Because he wasn't there, they gave it to somebody else, so they had to go stay at another hotel. And then they had, as they stayed at another hotel, they had to transfer back into the hotel. Now, I'm just not doing that. If you don't care enough about what my effort is to make things nice, then I'm not going to do it again. How does that teach a lesson? But what he did do, she was so embarrassed because it was just ridiculous, and because of that, she never was late for another flight that they took. Even if it was a family flight, she would be screaming at the kid, like, let's go, we got to be there. In fact, she was early. But the reason why she was early was because he allowed it to happen instead of sometimes we're so afraid to have the argument. And it wasn't even an argument. It was like this. She was like, the flight left, and he was like, yeah, well, I've been telling you, this is exactly why I'm always yelling and screaming and trying because I don't want this to happen. But if you don't respect my time and my energy, then okay, then we won't. But I also would have went home. And I would have took my ticket and went home and cashed my ticket and kept it in for another time. But what happened was he didn't do that because he didn't have the balls to go that hard yet. I mean, because it was early on in me consulting with him. But let's talk about what the subtext of that is. The subtext is, yeah, I know you spent thousands of dollars on this trip. And then my boy Cinnabon, he was actually saying, yeah, but then I would have lost the deposit and then this. And I go, well, how much was the deposit? He said, I would have lost like $300 on the deposit. And I go, yeah, but if you'd have been home, I go, how much did the whole trip cost? He was like, the whole trip cost about $6,000. I said, so you'd have lost $300, but you'd have gained $5,700. By going home. Because let's be honest, I'm not saying he didn't want to travel, but let's be honest, when we do things like that, we're doing that for Our Lady. It is, yeah, we want to do things, but we want to do it so that Our Lady would say, wow, I had a great time. I love you. This was so good. It's a way of us kindling and keeping the relationship alive. But if I'm making an effort to do that, and because let's realize what her actions are. I don't care how much money you spent. I don't care how much you've done in the past. I don't care that you've kept us afloat. I don't care about all the details that you did to make this trip happen. I want to eat a Cinnabon, and I don't care what you did. If somebody said that to you verbally, I don't care about what you think, you would have to leave them. How could you stay in a situation when somebody has been, but make no mistake about it, that's what they mean. Somebody that doesn't care about your happiness and what your boundaries are and don't want you to be happy and is not working for you to be happy and not working to not make you angry or upset you and not break your peace is somebody who don't care about you. Make no mistakes about it. Because if they said it to you verbally, you would end the marriage, end the relationship immediately. It's the same thing like saying if somebody cheats on you, and I always, for lack of another word, the woman, she exercises her options. She's like, I don't care what you've done. That doesn't matter to me. I wanted to do this, and that's what I did. Now, can you get past that? Can there be a realization if that's not the woman's constitution is to act that way? Absolutely. Or you can get past all that, but be clear about what the inference to what's happening in that moment. It's I don't care. And if you're in any relationship where your woman doesn't appreciate what you do, stop doing it. King Solomon said, was it Brian or Tom? What up, Solomon? What's going on? I don't remember. It was an older white dude. This was so many years ago. I'm not sure, Solomon, but thank you. Sin Cope Bane, what up, baby? Dwight, Chris in the building. Let me just go through these. There's Trevor in the building. Tiffany Banks, what's up, baby? She hating on Carl. What's up, Tiff? So good to hear from you, baby. Hit the like button. Thank you, sweetie. You're the best. Tiff, call me after the show. I haven't heard from you in ages. Let me see. We got Brandon Top Notch. We got a cash. Got a super chat. What about laying the 5 bricks when you're married? Okay, here's an interesting thing about that. Laying the 5 bricks when you're married, you can still be social. Understand something. The woman that married you, or the woman that was with you, she wanted you, or at least we can hope so, that she wanted you because other women wanted you. So you not being social doesn't make you a better husband. She wants to know that what she has value, and if you don't, if other women don't want you, then that is to
accept, press 1.
That is an admission to the fact that you don't have value. So Brandon Top Notch, yo, thank you for the $4.99. Appreciate for the super chat, dog. Who am I speaking to? Where you calling from, family?
Yo, Solano in Atlanta.
What up, kid? How you doing, kid? What's going on?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. How are you?
What the deal? So anybody in the chat knows Solano's one of my little shorties that I've been working with, is killing the game. So what's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm all right, man. I'm going through midterms right now, just keeping busy, keeping these grades up.
Okay, so you got a girlfriend yet or no? So let me say why I'm laughing, because Solano, how old are you?
I'm gonna be 23 this month.
Yeah, so Solano was like, man, I think I need a girlfriend. I said, oh, so this is the chick this is the one you're gonna stay with forever at 23? And I go, let's say you make it to 58, right? And this is the one that you're gonna rock with from 23 to 58. Okay. I mean, if you say so. But what's going on? How can I help you, bro? Talk to me.
Yo, so you were right, you know.
When is that not the case? But tell me what I'm right about.
Yeah, it's no surprise. But you know, you had told me before, you know, when I scheduled a consultation, I had told you that I was trying to cuff this girl and make it, you know, go steady with her. And we talked about it, and I went ahead.
When you said to me, I'm gonna cuff this girl, where did I go?
You said, you made your thoughts known.
All right. So what happened?
So, you know, we linked up. I confronted her. I told her, yo, let's talk. And she was playing hard to get at first, and then we started spending time together. And you know, we were going good for about, I want to say, like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we were spending a lot of time together. She was sleeping over, and at the end of every night, she'd come over, we'd hang out, she'd sleep over, but we would have these deep talks where eventually it would just wrap around. It would all come back it would go in a circle, and it would come back to me. You know, she just kept saying, oh, just be honest with me, just be honest with me, and which I was. And it just came back to me still wanting to see other people. And I let her know, like, I could be in a relationship with her, I could be committed, but I was just honest. And I said, you know, there would still be that part of me deep down or in the back of my head that would want to see other people.
And what was her response?
And she didn't like that. She just, you know, she said, I just want, you know, every girl wants to be chosen. I don't want to see other people. I want it to just be us. And if you can't give me that, I understand. I'm not mad at it, but I need you to tell me that now, you know?
Now, let me ask you this. What if here's a hypothetical. What if you said, I absolutely want to, we could do this relationship, but that, you know, that's still going to be on the back of my mind. But but that's a second thought, and I want to do this, so let's do this. What if you had said that?
I did.
Okay.
And she actually said, she actually said, what, you know, if we could do this to where, you know, we go steady. You know, you don't have to. I'm not saying I want it immediately, like in a relationship, but I want to know we're
All right.
working.
So where is it now?
Essentially, I broke things off with her, sort of, kind of. I mean, I was like, I don't want to be the asshole that hurts you twice, or I don't want to.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this, and that's something I said to you before. There's a couple of questions you asked me. I said, look, you have to be righteous. If you're righteous, then there's no reason to feel insecure. The minute you start not maintaining your credibility or not being honest, now that chips away at your value. Because understand this, everybody in the chat, everybody that's listening, the thousands of more dudes who are listening or whatever, understand this. When you're lying, you know you're lying. When you're being deceitful, you know you're being deceitful. And so what happens is, what makes you special is the fact that you don't lie. It's the fact that you believe that you are worthy enough to get the things you want without lying and without misrepresenting yourself. Because understand this, when you are lying, what you're ultimately saying to people is, I don't really feel as though I deserve whatever it is I'm endeavoring to get. So I'm going to lie about it so I can maintain a certain presentation of myself so that I can get what I want, even though I don't think that I'm worthy. So
I didn't lie. I was
Selena,
honest,
were you a
her,
virgin when we met or no? When I first started consulting with me?
Yeah. The 5 bricks helped me lose my virginity.
How long ago? How long ago was that?
I was 18, 19.
19? Okay.
I was either 18 or 19.
No, I think you were 19. So let me, and you're 23 now. What's the body count now?
If I had listened to you in the beginning, it'd be a lot further along, but probably about, off the top of my head, I went to 8.
8, okay. All right.
8, yeah.
But I mean, we went through a lot of time where I was telling you what to do, and then you were just like, no, I'm not going to do that. Or you would do a portion of what I said and then freestyle. Or you would get some
I'd get progress. I'd make progress.
Right, and then you would wild out. You were like, I don't need this. I got it figured out. And I was like, yeah, you're gonna screw this up. But Selena, thank you for calling, bro. Yeah. Thank you for calling. Thank you for calling. I mean, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you in my life, family. It's dope. My man, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. All right.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, bro. Later.
All right.
Yeah, it's always a good feeling, man, when I get my little shorties and they. It's crazy because I remember when I was talking to Pete Davidson, when I was teaching Pete Davidson, and there was so much, like, he used to call me from step to step, which is funny because, you know, I mean, but Pete Davidson's I mean, I don't know if y'all know that, but I met Pete Davidson when he was 17 and he was a virgin, and got him through that original getting laid, and then, you know, the game that I taught him. Now, there's one thing I will say is that Pete, I don't really speak to Pete anymore. Well, or he doesn't call me. I mean, he's a millionaire, so it is what it is. But I knew the minute that I actually called it 2 weeks before when Pete Davidson was talking to Kim Kardashian. I knew that she was going to break up with him the minute he got the tattoo on his chest. And it's not that he got the tattoo on his chest. It was the fact that he was in a situation where he was basically saying, in essence, I'm not worthy of what you're giving me. I'm not worthy of your time and your energy. And then so the first thing was getting her tattooed on him, and then the second thing was when he asked her to marry him, right? So what's interesting even about that, like the dynamic, this is a great case study. So the story is that Kim Kardashian that did SNL. She met Pete, and I forgot how I know this, but I know it. She was going through all that crazy stuff with Kanye, where Kanye was losing his mind and he was saying all kinds of crazy nonsense, right? And Pete Davidson got Kim Kardashian because Pete said, "You want to go for some ice cream?" That was his pitch. You want to go for, and I'm going to explain to you why this is so important to understand this. You want to go to get some ice cream is the total opposite of clown ass Kanye West. He was screaming, I'm a voice of a generation. I'm a god. You're also a clown. You're a clown, right? If you're that impactful on the world, you could just shut up. People will sing your praises. And he went from one situation where he thought, where anytime you get somebody that's talking about themselves, someone instead of other people talking about themselves, that's a problem. And so she was getting so much chaos and so much turmoil from Kanye that how awesome is that to go, you want to go for some ice cream, right? Even guys who was hitting on it, they probably was like, you want to come on my yacht? You want to fly to Saint-Tropez? You want to? No, what went under the defenses was, do you want to get some ice cream? Something simple, something honest, something who don't like ice cream. Here's a guy who she found attractive. He had a reputation of where women have already found that they liked him. I mean, so Kate Beckinsale, Ariana Grande, all of these women who are high caliber women who had basically co-signed that he was a viable entity. Guys don't just get girls because they dope. Yeah, they get them because they're dope. But women also look at men who other women find attractive. And they're attracted to you because other women have given their stamp of approval. So, but you want to go for some ice cream was the perfect pitch. The wrong pitch, though, I knew that it was going to go left, was because she was under so much stress. Kanye was talking crazy, showing up at the kids' school all of a sudden. And then instead of giving her space, what he did was, let's get married. That's the last thing she wanted. You're complicating what you need to be simpatico. You need to understand what she's thinking before she thinks it. And if she's under pressure, you don't give her more pressure. What's the last thing she needs is somebody who wants to get married, and now she gets married and she got to have a wedding, and like, man, I'm worried about my kids. And so that happened. This is when he asked her to marry him. She turned him down, and the whole relationship went to crap. So it's interesting. I like that. Apple Hoop Jack. He says ABM, always be macking. So it was the wrong play. I mean, as much as it was the good, can I go? You want to go for some ice cream? Was the right play, but let's get married was the wrong play. One of his old Blue Diesel says, "Never." One of his mentors said, "Never believe a crying woman." And that's, yeah. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Crying can be manipulative, but it also is. Let's not act like it's not an expression of sadness or pain. I mean, it just is. I think you have to measure that and look at things in the context. I mean, there's always this. So you can't really say somebody is something or not something because of one incident. It's a conglomeration of a lot of little things that give you the answer to what and let you know what you're dealing with. So there's that. Let's see what else we got. Phone lines are open. Y'all know what it is. Cash App is open. Y'all know how that is. The super chats open. Do the super chat and I will handle that immediately. Let's see. Poppy 719 says the balance is called boundaries. They're just some things you can't compromise on. The moment you do, you're cooked. You have to decide those things for yourself based on your principles. So here's that is another way of saying, Poppy, is what I say all the time, is that understand relationships are easy. You got to know what your non-negotiables are and then never negotiate them. Super important. That means this having a conversation with yourself about what you want, what your intent is, what you want your relationship to look like, what you want your life to look like, what job you want. All of those things are important because you cannot have, you can't, if in order for you to order Uber, two things you need the current location and you need the destination. You need to know where you are and where you're going, and you got to be honest about where you are. If you're dishonest about where you are, you're never going to get to where you want to be, whatever that is, whatever that looks like, whether that looks like you laying up in the bed with 3 chicks or being in a happy marriage raising kids. That's all up to you. Dante needs to man up and fix this relationship with Gavin McInnes. Some dude, let me just say this for the record. Gavin McInnes I think he's a funny dude. But Gavin McInnes is and has always been a anarchist. You say blue, he says red. You say up, you say down. He likes stirring the pot, and he gets off on that. And so, I don't, I'm a 58-year-old man. I don't need more friends. So I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you kicking it, but it's really not me. And to be honest, if I got a call I've called him, let me say that. I've called him and he's never called back. And if he called me, I would have a conversation with him. So, whatever. Let's see. Test PM, gents. When you apply honesty to speak with the bass in your voice. Hold on, we got a call. Let's see what we got here. Come on. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Keanu Gonzalez. I'm from Inglewood, California.
What's going on, baby? How you doing? How can I help you?
Hey, man, I got this weird situation, right? All right, so I was with this girl for a year. Now 6 months into it, we were just kind of casually, hooking up. And she was trying to get all serious with me. And I just told her, I like women and I'm not really ready to settle down.
How old are you? How old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I told her, I like you. I like spending time with you.
Right.
And I'm not really trying to be in love and all that type of stuff because that comes with different type of feelings and movements that's just not me.
Right.
And, she left. Hey, I gave her the option.
Right.
I didn't lie and say, oh, woo-woo.
Right.
And she keeps trying to come back every couple months, salute to the streets.
Now here's the question. Is she trying to come back under the parameters that you set in the first place? Or is she trying to come back and then gonna bend your will into what she wants?
I think it's more so of a nosy thing, trying to see what I got going on and who I'm messing with and what type of females are around.
Well, let me ask you this. When she comes back, do y'all smash or what? Or she just calls?
Well, she comes back, we go out, we talk, and sometimes we do smash, but sometimes we do just go out, have a good time, and pick each other's brains. And she's on some, I don't know, it's just weird, man. I'm not a guy that's gonna ever lie to a woman.
Right.
I'm not a guy that's going to, because I'd have been done. I'd had the tires, poked out, windows, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It just doesn't suit me.
And you get
right
tired of
now
it. You get tired of that.
Exactly. It's just like, okay, a little toxicity is fun here and there, but it's like, okay, my tire, that's real money you got to spend.
Yeah. Not only that, but if you're honest and she still throws a brick through your car window, then you are dealing with a sociopath because I told you what it was.
I told you,
and you're still on this. Yo, I'm gonna do whatever. This is what it is. So that's scary. You know what I mean?
It's scary. And the other thing is, a couple weeks ago, she saw me at the bar. because we frequent. Well, I frequent a bar. She knows I frequent a bar.
Right. So
and,
she showed up
sometimes
because she knew you'd be there.
Exactly. And
Right.
she pulled up. I'm with a fine little light skin thing. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, she's coming to me. Hey, woo, can I hug you? Can I touch you? My girl. I told her. Well, my girl at the time. I told her exactly what might happen if she does pull up. I gave her her protocol. And
Now, is this your girl, or is this your girl, or this is something something on the roster?
Well, yeah, I would say something on the roster. We hit each other up from time to time, but we don't know exactly what it is.
Cool.
And she just sat on the side and just watched the whole thing. I didn't even introduce them because me personally, I didn't feel the need, and at the same time, it probably would have just went left. So I was just like, okay, well, she's not butting in. You know what I'm saying? She's playing her part, and it to me it was awkward because I knew that she knew. My ex knew that this is one of my females
something
on the side.
I used to rock with.
Yeah,
Understand something. That's not a bad thing. Like,
right.
Nobody wants somebody that other people don't want. Trust me.
Yeah.
We all want the new hot joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I bought my Ducati. It was the hottest thing out there because I got it. I got to get that. So be clear. It doesn't. Here's my question. My question before I asked you what you're calling about. My question is: you said if you had introduced her, it would have went left. Why?
Well, because I know my ex, and she's caught me cheating, and
okay,
and certain women have, she's told me certain women have liked me before, and I just like, oh no, we cool. Like she's like, no, that's that's
yeah. Well,
really
if anybody knows, she knows. But I mean,
exactly.
Right. But
I just know her previous behavior.
Okay, but here's my question: why would she have gone left if that's not your woman?
Because I've seen her do it before. Like,
yeah, but then you understand that that's on you for tolerating that. Like, she has no stake on what you do, and she doesn't get to be disrespectful simply because emotionally she's in a place, and you need to make that clear. You know what I'm saying? I'm not understand something. I'm not saying you're doing nothing wrong. I'm just I'm polishing the diamond, right?
Right.
Where there's no mistake. So you absolutely should introduce her, but you should introduce her and then say when she stays too long, listen, I'm with my lady right now. I'm gonna need you to go. Because how hot is that you introduce her and then shoo her away? Not in a sense of, and understand something, this is not game. This is just what you should do. I mean, if you were with her, she would expect you to give her your attention. Do you know what I mean? And vice versa. So introducing her is something that you should do. And then you got to check your ex and be like, listen, you don't get to do that. You know?
Right.
You don't get to wild out. I don't care what your emotions are. You do that with your other dude or somebody else. So you know what I'm saying? You can't really leave and understand some people treat you the way that you want to be, that you allow them to be treated. If you allow that. So the minute, and I get that you have history with her, but that don't mean nothing. You got to be in a situation where you stand up to this like, hey, yo, don't do that.
Right.
Like if you want to be in my life, you need to be respectful. You know?
Yeah. You're right. You're right, big dog, man. Hey, listen, man, I appreciate the knowledge, man. Hey, man, I'm gonna let you keep going with your show, man.
All right,
hey,
brother.
man, I'm gonna try this next weekend, man. Have a good one.
I appreciate you calling out. We got a super chat in Spirit to Might. $10. Thank you, brother. He goes, I'm 6'2", 32 years old. I make six figures, in good shape, multiple degrees, but I still have a hard time getting to smash stage or keeping a prospect around. I know I'm doing something wrong. Okay, Spirit, you know what I'm gonna tell you. This is a process. I mean, if you're 6'2", 32 years old, you're in good shape, you got multiple degrees, you got a good job. Here's the problem. That's a great portfolio, but if you're selling something that you don't believe in, right? So as much as you think that you've done all the right things, if you're selling something that you don't particularly believe in, you're not going to be able to sell it. And that goes to self-esteem, that goes to insecurity, a lot of things. And it's, let me just say this, spirit to might, it is fixable. It's simple, but it's not easy. What I mean by that is there are things that you need to do to get you to the point, to that platform where you understand that all of those that list that you just rattled off, 32 years old, 650, good shape, multiple degrees, all of that, as much as you're rattling off as yo, I'm this dude, you don't believe, and I know this is going to be hard to hear, but you don't believe that you're worthy of what you want. Because when you start actually believing that all of that list of things that you think is important, when you start believing that is, and that is, all of that is your hard work and discipline and stuff. But dog, your character, you can have all of those things, be dishonest. You could be a dirtbag. I mean, look, you could have 1,000 bottles of baby oil and 784 dildos in your closet. You know what I'm saying? We're always in a situation where people who we think these quote unquote achievements or these monetary things or the cars, the planes. I've said this 100 times. You know, when people talk about this Diddy thing, make no mistake about it, this is about somebody who is insecure, doesn't think he's worthy, and so he has gotten powerful enough that he can bend people's will and make people do what he wants them to do, so that he can feel powerful. But if you internally feel powerful, you don't have a need to kick a motherfucker when he's down, or to take a dude who may or may not be gay that you gonna take his manhood because you want to prove. I mean, this is it. This is, I understand that this is the extreme aspect of that, but it absolutely is the truth. These are weak men, right, who have pursued money, power, and finances, and they think that gives them authenticity and integrity, and it doesn't. It really doesn't. I was hollering at my man this week. Actually, today I was talking to my man Ali Sadiq, and don't forget, man, Ali Sadiq is an amazing comic. Though he just shot 2 more specials. If you haven't seen his specials, check Domino Effect 2. I think he has 3 different specials, and really amazing work. And it was funny because him and I were kicking it today, and I was saying that, you know, everybody's not gonna like you. I mean, look, I practice this as much as I preach it. I am what you see is what you get. What I say it is. Anybody who has done consultation with me, anybody that is called in here who's done one-on-one consultations and stuff, they know that it ain't too much wiggle room. There's very little wiggle room between what I say I am and what I am. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not always on point, but I'm always getting back on that horse and trying to get back on the grind. And I was talking to Ali, and he was like, you know, he's one of those comics that's always trying to be better. He's like, what do I need to do? And and I go, the people that F with you are the people that F with you because of who you are. You can't make people who don't have the emotional or intellectual or acuity or aptitude to see something that they're not capable of seeing. Sometimes they're just not smart enough to see how dope you are. You just got to move on to a place where somebody who gets it. And if you and I've seen so many people compromise that and be something that they're not, and because they're not something, they get the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and then they are unhappy because now they can't be the person who they say they are. It's a sad state of affairs. I see this over and over again, dog. I mean, I've seen, I'm not gonna name no names, but I've seen dudes, comic friends of mine who are friends of mine that I came up with, who, you know, got the bag, secured the bag, and then hooked up with an entourage, and then was running around with a bunch of dudes who you helped them secure the bag, but they're not, because they're securing it because you are a payday to them. They don't have the ability to be honest with you and tell you when you're off the mark, when your special is whack, or when you said something that's not funny, because everybody's trying to secure the bag and keep getting paid. And the bottom line is it just doesn't work that way. Let's see what we got here. I'm getting better with these phones, y'all. I appreciate y'all being patient with me.
To accept, press 1.
Yo, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Dante, like, I'm a fan, big fan. I'm married, by the way. Is it okay if I be anonymous?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay, cool. I've been going through it all day. Like, my stomach been turning, my spirit, it's been different. Okay, I'm gonna get into it. So, I'm a truck driver, by the way.
Okay.
I was in Tennessee.
Okay.
Right? And I'm walking to a Walmart, and like there's a pickup truck with like 6 white people in it. And as I'm walking, one of the guys flagged me down, like, hey. And then I had my headset on and watching YouTube, and he's, hey. Like, I put my headset to the side. He was like, come here. Okay. I come up. He was like, hey, buddy, you need a ride? I'm like, wait, is this a prank? Are there cameras around? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
And I was like, no. So he's hanging out the passenger. He's slapping the door like, do you need a ride? I'm like,
wow.
Nah, I'm good. So as I'm walking away, there's a little girl in the back seat. She says, bye, nigger. Okay. And I look back, and, you know, they kind of like freeze up, like, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't like too like offended.
Yeah.
In the sense, like, yeah. So I go inside the Walmart, and I'm purchasing, like, you know, bread, sandwich meat, type shit. So then it occurred to me, like my fight or flight like went off at that moment. Right. So I contact the Walmart manager. I'm like, hey, look, there's these people outside. I don't know how this shit gonna go, because I'm gonna walk back the way I came. Right. And it's gonna go out like da-da-da-da-da. So the head of security, whatever, they came and walked out with me, and they were gone.
Okay.
And I was cool, Dante. But then when I got in my truck and I sat with that shit,
yeah,
it kind of fucked with me. And
okay, why? Why?
It fucked with me because just like in real time, just how not disrespectful, but how things could have gone. As in, I feel like I could have dragged every motherfucker in that fucking pickup truck.
Yeah, watch
and
your mouth.
Their
Watch
face
your mouth.
in, right? Okay, my bad. Okay. Yeah. So my adrenaline and what I feel like I could have done, but I feel like if I reacted the way my spirit wanted to, it's a lose-lose. Right. Well, but still, like,
okay. Yeah. So what is your question?
Okay, so I posted about it. You know, like my family, my cousins, like they was behind me. Yeah, we would have drugged her. But when I called my wife, my wife was like on some like, what did you do? Okay. I'm like, you're my wife. Like, what do you mean? Like, why aren't you on? Not say to be on my side. And I was explaining to her, like,
so what was
me
her
and my homeboy out.
What was her take though? What was her take on this?
Her take wasn't, you know, all for me. It was questioning. It was, wait, what did you do? What did you say?
What was her take? I mean, yes, I get she was questioning you, but that doesn't tell me what was her take on this.
Okay, I will answer to that. Like, her take was, yeah, like, I'm with you. but what? Like, yeah, I'm with you. Like, I would be mad too. And
what was her expectation?
This might be where I dropped the ball.
My question is, what was her expectation? What did she think you should have done?
She didn't expel that.
And did you ask? You didn't ask though either.
Yeah, nah, because it got too kind of heated. Like,
how? Okay, that, you say it got heated. How did it get heated? What did it get heated? What was the heated? You wanted her to respond in a certain way. She didn't respond in a certain way, but you're also not telling me how she responded. You understand? So either you're making an assumption about something she thought, because if there was a okay, let's say she was, I want you to kick somebody's ass, right? Let's say that was her take on it, right? What would that say to you?
That she trying to trick me on my spot or not giving me the best like advice at that moment.
Okay, and if she said, "Oh, that's horrible, baby," whatever, and kept it moving, what would that have done to you? Also, what would you have said about that?
I would have felt better.
Okay, so here's my thing. So my question is also, so let me say something that's clear. I said one of the reasons why this stuff is personal, right? Especially to Black folks, is because of the history behind it, right? But let's be honest. Why is it offensive that somebody says this? First of all, if you'd have dragged them out of the car, you'd have been arrested, right?
Exactly.
And where were y'all at? Where were you at when this happened?
I was in Pulaski, Tennessee.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, you know how this turns out with you whipping somebody's ass and whipping the girl's ass. You know what I'm saying? So this is but the other thing is, I get that it could be offensive, but to the same token, it's like, who is this trailer park cousin fucking, you know, what, like I care what you think. See, the thing is, people say that because they think you and somebody put this in the thing, Brandon Top Notch Inc. said they could have shot at you, you know. And
justifiably got off. I could have been a hashtag.
Right, and your response to this comes from emotional, because you're emotional. What do I say about emotion? Never let emotion have a seat at the table. So first of all, you're upset because somebody who's probably some jelly sandwich trailer park cousin fucking dirty barefoot having motherfucker kid, it has an opinion about you, right? And it matters to you. Why? What's up, Eric?
It mattered to me in the sense of I kind of got into like fight or flight. And what I mean by that, Dante, is when I made my purchases and left the store, I'm like, are they going to follow me? Is this going to be a case to some random shit where niggas hung from a tree? I'd be damned if it's me.
Right.
So as I'm walking back out of Walmart, like I'm looking left and right. Even when I walked into Walmart, Dante, I'm looking at the white folks in their face.
Here's my question. That's not what the question is. The fact that white supremacy, racism exists is that's evident. My point is, you're calling because of this conversation is about how your wife responded, right?
Yeah, and I gave her examples, and yes, it fell apart. It went bad, man. It went bad.
So, what were your examples? I'm not. So, are you saying because she didn't take your side, or because she like? So, here's my thing, dog. Let's say me and you, we at the club, right? Mm-hmm. And something happens, right? Blah blah blah, whatever, and we end up cleaning house, right? Somebody says something, mm-hmm. I throw the first punch, blah, 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 we rock, we run out, right? Let's say another scenario. We at the club, somebody says something to you, blah, 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 maybe whatever, and I go, hey, listen, man, we don't want no trouble, and I'm bounced. In no shape or form am I looking for my woman to dictate the what my actions are. Do you feel what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
It has to. If I'm going to be the man, I'm going to take this situation. I'm going to take in the information, and I'm going to make the decisions the way they need to be made. Why? Because I'm not looking at my chick to tell me how I should handle this. Right? If you're going to tell her this story, or you're going to understand something, you can't assume that she's going to get or respond the way that you want her to respond. You understand what I'm saying? And
that's just it, man. I understand. That's what hurts so bad, because I dispelled this to my female cousins and my sister, and the response and the vitriol that they had, at least, of course, we from Georgia, like, they're not gonna drive up, but they like, yeah, like, we behind you, like, type stuff. And my wife questioning and doing all these gymnastics. I'm like, what is happening? And so I gave examples of when she would take me to like her company parties.
Yeah.
And she would be like off of me. I won't, for lack of a better word,
what do you mean off of you?
As being,
you mean not as
like,
affectionate as she should be?
Yeah. Not as affectionate as she should be, not as affectionate as she would be. Like,
well, I think you gotta have a conversation with this, because there's something definitely going on. I mean, I mean, there's questions that I would ask you, but you already said let's be anonymous. So there's questions I don't want to ask you in the context.
No, I'm open to that, Dante. I'm open to it.
Okay, so here's my question: why do you think that she is not as affectionate when y'all go to job stuff? Quick, Joe, thank you. I am Felicia. Thank you. Thanks. I figured I'd give you a little color today. So got a super chat from I am Felicia, 1999. Thank you, darling. I'm for you special. I'm gonna put some color on from now on. So thank you. Love you too. All right. Felicia's a queen. Thanks, Test PM. Here's my thing. I'm assuming. Why do you think that why does she think you think she? And I'm assuming that this work thing is a lot of white folks, and that she's acting funny style.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's so funny.
But Doug, you got to understand something. Everybody's at a different level. Everybody's at a different level at a different time. I don't know. I mean, I did Godfrey's show last week, and Lord Jamal was on there, right? And what I realized is when I do Godfrey's show, I have a certain belief system, and sometimes Godfrey doesn't care to push back on the nonsense. He'll let somebody talk, and it doesn't bother him. I'm just not a person who is going to let some bullshit go by because I can't. Because of the fact that I disagree with them. It's not my show, it's his show. And so a lot of times when he adds, like we did Lord Jamal, and Lord Jamal was flat earth. He didn't believe in Darwinism, evolution, gravity. He didn't believe in vaccinations. He didn't think that Kamala was black enough. I mean, like he was the Lord Jamal was everything, every conspiracy theory he was down with, right? But understand something too, that it's not my show, and he's it's like, and Godfrey doesn't mind him talking all of this without pushing back. So I push back a little bit, but not nearly as much. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Brand Nubian. I mean, I love Lord Jamal as a rapper, but I mean, that's my era, but I'm not going to Lord Jamal for physics advice. You feel me? I'm also not going to go to some trailer park pickup truck wearing dude to find out what true blackness is and the value of blackness. When somebody thinks it's corny. Like, if you calling somebody the N-word at this point, you're corny. You are corny.
Super duper.
But it's like that's what your thing is. You're gonna put me in this. I mean, you're gonna put me in this group that you think too, because you're not educated. When black people built this country, I mean, black people in this country before this country was a country. Understand that. before the independence of this country. So to even look to this, what I would consider the white gaze, to live up to somebody else's belief system is. But I'm gonna also say that people are programmed that way, and so I mean, a lot of dudes in the South. I've gone down to the South, and they, you know, they're in that place where they care what white folks think. I don't care what nobody thinks.
Yeah.
I don't care what.
I've never been there.
Dog, I've
Dante,
been around celebrities, but I think you have to have a conversation with, because if this rubs you the wrong way, this will continue to rub you the wrong way.
But I also want your insight on this scenario, right? Like, let's say Godfrey brings on a guest, right? And that guest cling on to you, your energy, and then what you're saying. And let's say Godfrey, I don't even want to put Godfrey. Okay, my wife, right? She brought me to this company party, right? And she tried to, like, I won't say outright downplay me. Like, there's couples there and they're coupling, but she's code switched. Like, she code switched heavy, like overly, right? To the point where these random ass white guys,
it's almost like she's
is
Tommy.
looking at, they looking at me like, yo, you're cool as shit.
Yeah.
You the best dressed. You the best looking.
Yeah.
Why the fuck isn't your wife over here? Like, why is she over there? And
yeah, you gotta check that. But that goes to her. That goes to her. That's her own personal insecurity, because she don't think she's good enough. So if she doesn't think she's good enough, how's she gonna think that you're good enough? You feel me?
I'm glad, I'm glad you said it, because I felt like I was more than good enough. I'm way swaggier and better than all y'all niggas, but she don't feel that way.
Dog, I've been around Chris Rock, Deja, like, and I take up space, and if you not effing with me, you not effing with me. Anytime I'm around,
I thought she felt that way about me.
Yeah, well,
and then to see how she move in these different rooms with people, white people.
But you gotta understand something. The programming is so extensive. You can't. A lot of times, people who are not melanated will say things that they don't even understand how biased it is, because the programming is you have to understand something, and and I don't mean to disclude any of the other races or people that listen to the show, but I just you got to understand something. We are talking about 400 years. Like the science of the day was that Black people are inferior. Black people are intellectually inferior. Black people are lazy. Black people are oversexed. Black women are oversexed. And all of these things are put into place. All these tropes are put into place because it makes the dehumanization of people of color easy to do. If you say that Black women are oversexed, then when slave owners are raping them, when their grandfathers and our founding fathers and George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, all these guys are raping their slaves, right? It makes it okay because they're subhuman. When you murder people, when you hang people because they want to vote, when you beat people, we literally, when we're talking about, there's a period of time. I got a book here called what is it? I forget the name of the book, but it literally talks about lynchings and a time where you would hang somebody, burn them while they were hung, right? And then the people in the audience, men, women, and children, would take an ear or take a piece of his dick or take a toe and use it as a souvenir. And we're talking about children. What we have to understand is that when you do that to people, you also lose your own humanity, because Black people are humans, and whether or not you think so or not is what makes you inhuman. You have to be a monster to take somebody, to castrate somebody and keep their penis in a jar on your mantle. You know what I'm saying? It also, and not only that racism is damaged it's ultimately the guilt of it and so on and so forth. And this is why there's always move on. But Doug, I think the problem with this is
like as I'm listening to you, Doctor, you make all the sense in the world. I just know, like, if these words were distilled to her mama, her sister, it would be like
it's a lot of trauma, though. You got to understand something. There's a lot of trauma. And if they're from the South, you know, they've seen things, and it was like, keep your head down, stay alive. You know what I mean? Even though it may not be the same now, but we've learned to do that. You know, I mean, black folks will go
and they knew to do that with the white man, like
right. Well, I mean, you're talking about 300-400 years of history of abuse. So I mean, I think you got to have a conversation. I think. You know what? Here's what you do. What's the name of that book? I don't know. Does she read? Does your wife read?
Yeah.
Get her. There's a book called White Rage. It's a good starter book to read. Get her to read that. If you can get
can I leave you with like one last thing?
Yeah,
last scenario?
Sure.
Okay, bet. Okay, so expressing how you move in these company parties compared to me being called nigger, compared to my family and close friends. And I was just simply expressing that. And her heart, her emotions, like, as far as I know, they said that she passed out. Mind you, like my house,
yeah,
her mom, her sister's son, like, lives in it, and that's they shit. Like, mind you, I'm a truck driver. Like,
yeah, I don't understand what you're talking about. You're saying that they live in corporate, in the corporate diaspora, and they have to deal with this. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but it was no. What I'm saying is, be it that the house, the foundation that we built, me and my wife.
Yeah.
Her sister, her mom, like, reap like the fruit, the benefits.
Okay.
And so when me and my wife were talking and I'm expressing, you know, my back, like, you push back, like, which is cool, but you do that shit constantly. And
I'm not sure.
Reason,
when you say she pushes back, what do you mean?
Like, what did I do? Like, how did you agitate those white people? Like, what did you say? How did you move?
You're basically saying they cooning, right? That's what you're saying.
My wife in particular.
Yeah.
Because I already told you how she code switch.
Yeah, but but you got to understand something. That is because that's where she's at. You know, that's where she's at. This is how she has been. This is how her mama raised her. This is how she was. This is how she survived. You know, I mean, all you can do is you can educate her, and you can bring her up to a point where she's. I'm going to tell you something. There's no way that you can read history and then feel inferior about being a black man in America. There's just no way you can do that.
But check this out, Dante. Like, in the midst of calling her out, like, code switching and speaking my truth, she kind of had, I won't say like a heart attack or something. Like, I don't know if the words I was saying were hitting her spirit and her soul. I don't know if she fell out or made her mom and her sister aware, but she's incapacitated. Like,
what do you mean she's incapacitated? I'm not. So,
like, the phone call stopped, and I think
your wife is not
on the floor.
Your wife is not calling you now. You're not being clear. You got to be clear about I don't know what you're talking about. Are you saying she stopped calling you after y'all had this little tiff?
Yeah.
Well, you got to have a conversation with her, man. That's all you can do. You got to have a conversation.
In the midst of us being on the phone, and she falls, so grandma gets on the phone, her sister gets on the phone. I'm like, what y'all talking about? I need to know the status of her. Like, me and her signed the lease for this house that y'all living in. Me and her signed the marriage certificate.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to understand something. It's already messy if you got her mother and her sister in your relationship. That's a problem. Look, I got some more calls. I gotta go, bro. But
okay, yeah. I had more. I'm with you.
Book a consultation. We'll talk about it, man. We'll figure. We can sort it out.
Yeah.
All right. But you're kind of all over there. All right, family.
I know.
Later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just couldn't really understand what he was talking about. I mean, I understand. I'm sorry I missed that call, but I want to give people the time and the energy to kind of express emotionally what they're going through. But I understand we are doing a show here, and I feel like you got to bring it to a head. Let's see what we got here. Bam.
To accept, press 1.
Yo, what's your name? Where you calling from?
How's it going, Dante? This is James. Just calling back.
What's going on, James? What's going on, brother?
Good. So I'm actually calling to comment on the previous fella. Look, man, he needs to call, bro, you need to call Dante because your situation is a lot deeper than what you made it seem like. Yeah, your situation is a lot deeper. So unfortunately, that's indeed the case. And the chat seems to agree.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. It's the fact, if you're having this kind of problem where his life could have been, his life could have been in danger because you don't know how this was going to go down. And the fact that she's asking goofy questions instead of really worried about, what's going on with him. You're absolutely right. There's a lot more to this that the fact that, and then there's another telltale thing when we're talking about the fact that her mama and her daughter and all this is in their relationship. It's an absolute problem. That's an absolute problem that's gonna blow bigger. And if he's talking about we got the lease together, your mama, you ain't marry your mama, you didn't marry your mama. So it is what it is. But I appreciate you calling.
For now.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Pardon me. Yeah. So that aside. I kind of wanted to get into what's in the whole dating realm. How do you feel, Dante? You used to be ex-stripper, ex-pimp, ex-husband, as was made fun of on a Black Phillip. What is your suggestion? What is your thoughts on paying? And when I say paying, I don't mean paying on the first date. I mean paying, period. I'm talking about you have an ongoing relationship as a man. You earn more than enough.
Right.
What is your thoughts on paying, period? Meaning, as a man, I like to think of myself as, well, I earn enough for both me and her. I could carry our lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I prefer to pay because partially it's what I saw my father did.
Yeah, well, it's also the system that we live in. Whether or not right, wrong, or otherwise, we gotta it's.
But do you agree with that? Do you agree with that, especially given today's day and age? Especially given that today, granted, my father paid when women weren't necessarily allowed to earn as much as men. Nowadays, a lot of women out-earn a lot of men. What's your thoughts on having men still be the one who leads with paying, the one who leads with I'm the man of the house, I pay for the mortgage? I'm going to tell you right here, it's less like 1 in 4 women are going to die alone, so I think what your money or not your money or what you make or what you don't make is if you're sensitive about this, then it's going to be a problem. If you're not saying, if you're saying, listen, I don't care what I'm making or what I'm not making or because it could also have, it could also be a situation where we're literally talking about, it could not be money.
It could be degrees. Like we had years ago, we just had Joe Matarese on my show years ago, and his wife was a psychologist, and she, she loved him because, she liked him because she was definitely, like he was a comic and very untraditional. And then when he married her,
but that's a special skill. No,
right.
but that's a special skill.
Oh, sure,
yeah,
sure it is. But he hung out with her people, which were all intellects and psychiatrists and so on and so forth. And then he kept talking about how he felt dumb. And then she was like, well, you're depressed and you need to go. I was there when she was like, you need to go to see a psychiatrist and get some kind of medication, right? And
but hold on. Well, hold on. I got to ask, because I'm in a group where, I know enough psychologists and psychiatrists, and the reality is, no denigration to them, but they're not particularly smart individuals whereby they've memorized a lot of what other people have figured out.
That's not right. But what I'm saying, I'm putting this together in terms of the same way you see this, the same way you're talking about this in terms of education doesn't necessarily make you the smarter person. Neither does your money. Your money don't make you better.
No. Agreed. But now my question is now in an era where women are earning just as much, if not more than men, should men still be playing that position of the traditional quote unquote man role of taking care of all the finances and making sure the household is together way of finances?
If I'm with somebody and they're not trying to help us to live a better life, I'm not down. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm just like, if I'm with somebody and they're not trying to make me happy as an individual, I'm not dealing with them. I don't care how many degrees. I'm gonna tell you, my first wife, what really separated us more than anything was the fact that she got her master's degree. Right now, it never crossed her mind that, like when I met her, she didn't even know how to do a research paper. I helped her get through her bachelor's degree. Right, I helped her get through her master's degree. What was interesting is that it was funny when I remember on her graduation, we were, her family was there and I was there, and they were like, Dante, thank you so much. You raised her daughter, because her mom was like, I'm not gonna be one of them women that don't have a life because they have. And I was like, yes, the hell you are. You absolutely going. This is your burden, which she had the daughter to keep her ex. That's why she got pregnant and had the baby to keep him. So it was like, so when I stepped up and I raised her daughter, I was even reluctant to get in because I knew what it would take. I knew what kind of commitment I would, because I didn't want to be in this little girl's life and then just bounce out. And then she have these abandonment issues because I didn't figure out whether or not I was willing to make the commitment in the first place. So what I'm saying is, there is no set way. Just like I say, if you wanna keep a roster, you want to keep what I call a roller fuck instead of a Rolodex, and you want to do that, or you want to have a wife, or you want to have a girlfriend, or you can have whatever you want. You just gotta find the right people that fit it in, and then you have to believe that you deserve that. And so if you're
ultimately be honest.
Be honest about it. And if somebody is saying to me, I ain't doing this and I ain't doing that, then it's even way simpler than that. It's simpler than that, and it's because if you got somebody who is in your life and this is your significant other, and they're not trying to do everything to make you happy, right? Which don't get it twisted. I'm saying you should be doing the same thing for her. But if you're in a relationship,
I'm sorry. I'm not gonna hold you. I've had plenty of experiences. I got plenty of bodies, thank God. But what you're saying right now, you're actually speaking to one of my primary issues, and I appreciate that. Which is, stand on who you are. And with that, no matter how much you like whoever you like, stand on what it is. Yeah. And if they're not with it, get going and find someone who's with it.
And then you will find somebody who's with it. I guarantee you. If you stand 10 toes down, you will find somebody who's with it, who's on the same page as you are.
But you got to stand on it. You got to be willing.
And you can't buckle under the pressure, because you will be tested. And if you buckle under the pressure, trust me, they will they'll smell the pussy on you. You'll smell the chicken. Yeah, so you gonna get swept. So you gotta be about this. You gotta be about this life. But family, thank you for calling, bro. I appreciate it. All right, fam. All right. Let's see what we got here. Let's shut that down. Man, we 2 hours in. Y'all got me running my mouth. Y'all ain't gonna have me talking all night. Let me just go through the comments real quick. Love to listening. Okay, that's about Red Fox did a great take on all black people smell. You smell if your bathroom was locked and you got I don't know that. I'm entertained by Flutter's people. Lord Jamar was not giving anything away to make me scratch my head. Flat Earth at least is better, or shall I say convincing argument. Flat Earth, Dave at least has but Dave's been living there, but it's funny with that Flat Earth thing is weird because there's a dude there's something, check this out online, it's called Flat Earth. Flat Earth Experiment is where this dude is paying for 2 flat earthers and 2 globalists to taking them to Antarctica, which all flat earthers say that you can't fly if you fly to Antarctica, they'll turn you around. The government will turn you around, but we can all Google right now. You can get a flight to Antarctica if you want. So there's that, and there's a guy who's actually one of the things that disproves flat Earth is that if in Antarctica there's a 24 hour where the sun doesn't go down. That's how that's one of the easiest ways to prove that the world is a globe, because you need to have the globe where 24 hours is where the sun doesn't go down. So that y'all can check it out. There's a dude talking about it, which is it's called Flat Earth Experiment, FEE, I believe it's called, Flat Earth. Yeah. So there's that. Real quick, Brandon Topness, does his wife, is she ashamed of him or his profession? Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. Without Sanctuary, yes it is. It's right up on the top of my shelf. Exactly. Thank you, Nia. So there's that. So what I was saying is there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot going on with his wife, and she might have just been one of them folks that was in the South, and and she's learned that this is what it is. I mean, South is a different kind of there's a different kind of racism that's going on. So there's that. Let me see if I can get through these. All these gonna last for. Somebody said they're gonna last for another 2 years, and they out. Brother, have a conversation with your wife. Absolutely, stay strong. They recover insecure. Got let me see if we got everybody. Yeah, I think we got it. Bro, Marco, what's going on, bro? Some women really don't want happiness. They want the attention that drama brings. Absolutely. I've talked about this, but that's not just women, that's men as well. Let's Go Cards 04 was popping. I think we're gonna shut a man club. You can only fly across the world from Japan to Alaska, then to New York, then to Europe, and then Asia, and back to Japan. They are going to fly. I check this out. Check it out. It's called Flat Earth kind of dumb because it's everything around and around and flat. I'm just trying to go through. I am Felicia. Also, common sense of it all. Other planets and the moon around. What makes Earth? Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. But thank you, Felicia. I appreciate you. I think we 2 hours in, man. I gotta shut this down. Real quick. Real quick, let me just put everything up real quick. Don't forget the Patreon, y'all. The Patreon is www.patreon.com. Where's it at? There it is. Let's see. Check out www.patreon.com, Man School 202 for content. Don't forget the Cash App. Y'all got it up there. The thing is up there. One-on-one consultations. DanteNero.com. Click on consult if you need that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Give me plenty of likes, thumbs up on this. If you haven't seen it, tell a friend, send it to somebody if you can. And I'm gonna be cutting these questions into smaller pieces and putting them up. Please like, subscribe on the YouTube channel and Dante Nero channel. Like and subscribe on everything. Instagram, all that good stuff. Dante Nero. Yo, y'all the best that ever did it, man. Man, I appreciate y'all. Peace. We are out. Love y'all, man.